what to expect from this market next. I am talking about the crypto markets. I am talking about the stock markets, which is highly correlated with the crypto markets. I think there's a lot more room to go for this bull cycle, at least in the next couple of months, before an actual correction. I will show you guys why I think that is, and based on my experience of 5+ years in trading. Um, Bitcoin currently is still stalling at 118K level, but I do think that it is still very good for the altcoins because Bitcoin is losing its dominance over the markets. As you guys can see, Bitcoin dominance has been rolling over from about 65%. And I showed you guys a chart a couple of days ago why I think that is a good thing at the moment. Ethereum has been on fire over the weekend, currently at about 37, 3,800. Total 3, which is the shift in focus I am looking at right now, because that basically tells me how the altcoins will run. Okay, the rest of the altcoin markets, excluding Ethereum, and I showed you guys a chart that has actually just broken out of a consolidation pattern, which would be very good for the rest of the altcoin markets. Now, stock market is at its all-time highs, and based on the monthly RSI of both the ES1 exclamation mark, which is the S&P 500 futures, and Bitcoin, the monthly RSI, very important indicator you guys should be paying attention to, because it could give you a signal for when the peak of this bull cycle will come. And as we get closer to the peak, I am gonna be scaling out of this market so I don't get trapped, and I'll be able to keep more of my profits, right? So let's go ahead and take a look into Bitcoin real quick, because even though it is losing its dominance over the crypto markets, we're currently sitting at about just a little bit over 60% here. Still very important to be paying attention to Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin has more room to run, so will the altcoins. And Bitcoin, in my opinion, of course, everything here is still my opinions and speculations, none of which what I'm saying in this video is financial advice. You gotta do your own due diligence, okay? Right now, we're still very close to this breakout point that just happened about 2 weeks ago, okay? The price target for this breakout, this cup and handle breakout here, is about 145K for Bitcoin. That is the short-term target. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Very much depends on the market. And right now, I think I see a very bullish market here. We're gonna get into some major crypto news here as well, and let me also talk about some altcoins we're gonna be getting into, which will include ORCA. We're going to be talking about WEMIX. We're going to be talking about Solayer, okay? Later in this video, usually after the 10-minute mark. If you guys want to skip ahead, you guys can. I highly don't recommend it. I don't trade altcoins with a solid understanding of the Bitcoin charts. All right, let's go to some major crypto news here before resuming what's on the charts. Okay, this is by Dow Jones Newswires. Trump media accumulates $2 billion in Bitcoin. Okay, what comes next? According to Truth Social parent, Barron's.com. So I think this is very bullish for the crypto markets, because we're seeing more accumulation, right? That means there's gonna be less supply on the markets. And when there's less supply and when demand comes, I do think that's going to drive up the price. Next piece here is going to be by Cointelegraph. How to use Google Gemini to turn crypto news into trade signals. I have not tried this yet. I have not tried using crypto news to in Google Gemini to turn them into trade signals. One of the most recent AI chatbots that I have been using is Grok, which is basically the AI chatbot in Twitter, okay, or X. That has been very useful for me in just confirming in confirming these technical analysis patterns, right? If I actually had found out about this 5+ years ago when I first started trading, it would have been a lot more convenient. So let me show you guys. how to use Grok here. Okay, this is X. Okay, this is Twitter. If you guys don't have Twitter, I think you guys should definitely go on it, and follow me on Twitter because I also post on X as well. Now, if we actually go to Grok here, okay, uh, let's do an example. Okay, what is a double bottom pattern? Okay, so and then it gives you basically the explanation of what a double bottom pattern is, which is a very common pattern in technical analysis, and I would discuss this quite frequently. So this is a very convenient way to learn technical analysis based on what you guys hear from YouTubers, and you guys can do your own research in Grok. I haven't tried it with trading signals, but I usually go off my own judgment and my own system in reading trading signals. So I'm not sure if I trust AI bots to do that for me based on news. But I think this is a very good way to learn technical analysis. From what I'm reading here, it does have pretty good accuracy, at least based on this pattern. All right, so next it's going to be crypto news. Billionaire Michael Saylor boosts Bitcoin holdings with new over 6,000 BTC purchase. That's definitely bullish for the crypto markets, especially Bitcoin, because now the Bitcoin price is set to go higher. Just given this piece of information at least. Okay, this is by 99 Bitcoins. Crypto news today. Latest updates for July 21st. Bitcoin at 118.5K. Yeah. Altcoin set on the move as ETH targets 4,000. I think 4,000 is going to be a very easy target for Ethereum. I think it's set to go a lot higher. If you guys want to hear more about Ethereum, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll bring you guys an update on Ethereum if enough of you guys want to see it. XRP targets $6 to $10. I think that's very well within reach, especially with the last XRP setup I gave you guys. That takes XRP to $4, and I think based on the monthly RSI of the Bitcoin charts, I think $6 to $10 is very well within reach. Next piece here is by ZY Crypto. Robert Kiyosaki cautions Bitcoin bubble about to burst, but suggests it's good news. Here's why. Now, without getting into too much details from this piece of news here, I'm just gonna react to the headline. Yeah, I think there is gonna be an end to the bull cycle. If you guys actually take a look into the monthly time frame, to be the easiest, right? Take a look into the last bull cycles and see what it did. Okay. The key indicator that I will be keeping track of is the monthly RSI. When it gets to that overbought level, especially above 90, I will be very cautious and be taking my profits off the table. So take a look into 2021. What happened? End of 2021, end of 2017. Okay. So yeah, I do think at some point this is gonna burst, and I will be keeping track of it for you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Let's go to Bitcoin here. Still a very early, you know, we're still very early to this bull cycle here. Just Bitcoin just broke out of this huge consolidation pattern we've been in for basically 2025. This is the weekly time frame. Broke out. Resistance was at about 110K. Okay. Short-term target here is gonna be 145K. Okay. And price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. I am long on Bitcoin and quite a bit of the altcoins across the board. So obviously my opinion on this market right now is still very bullish. I'll tell you guys when I change my opinion. And let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame. Bitcoin loss is higher low. Okay, I talked about higher low on the daily time frame. It basically lost it. with yesterday's daily candle close. So what happens if you lose a higher low on a time frame? What I do is I look for a higher low on, if I zoom out, I will look for a higher low on a higher time frame and see if we're still on an uptrend. Higher lows are very important because that's where I usually look for opportunities, and that signals an uptrend. You just imagine an uptrend is higher highs and higher low. Nothing goes in a straight line. Okay. So what I'm looking at here is the 3-day time frame where there is still a higher low, and my thought process is if I want to actually open a position, how good of a probability is this higher low actually a higher low, right? Is this the actual higher low, or will it continue dipping lower, right? That is my thought process when I want to think about opening a position. And I keep the Bitcoin chart in mind even when I am looking for altcoin opportunities. It's going to be Bitcoin chart first and then altcoins, because if Bitcoin does dump, that could still affect the altcoins, even though some of these Bitcoin pullbacks have less of an impact now that Bitcoin dominance is kind of rolling over, right? So, if I want to look into the probabilities of if this higher low is actually the actual higher low, I would zoom in to a lower time frame. In this case, would be the 6-hour time frame, because we have a falling wedge here that's still valid. Bitcoin's still trying to break out of this falling wedge, and this is, it did get rejected for the previous two breakouts here. If Bitcoin actually breaks out of this pattern here, then I think the probability of this being a higher low on the 3-day time frame, um, you know, it increases, right? Nothing's 100% in this market. I gauge things by probabilities. Let's take a look into altcoins now. I know you guys are here for the altcoins. Okay, let's take a look into, first of all, ORCA. What is happening in ORCA coin? Okay, this is a smaller altcoin, ranking from about 200 to 300. I would say it's about like a medium sized altcoin right now. So of course it comes with some volatility, right? Just gotta expect that. But I do think that, at least for me personally, my opinions and speculations, none of which what I'm saying here is financial advice, and you should do your own due diligence. But me personally, I am long on quite a bit of these altcoins, because I do think that when Bitcoin starts its bull cycle, it is the situation to take more risk, right? Of course, also acknowledging the downside risk of these altcoins as well, because they could go down pretty quickly. Now, Orca here on this weekly time frame, there is a falling wedge pattern. Falling wedge patterns usually break to the upside. Okay, if this does what it already has, right, with this candle here, price target would be about $4 for Orca. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing for Orca on this weekly time frame. And this looks like a fresh breakout here. Okay, has actually just reclaimed the daily 200 SMA, which is the orange line. Let's see if this breakout sustains itself. Price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Okay, I've seen all types of scenarios that could happen. Just because a market breaks out does not mean that it's gonna smooth sail to its price target. I've seen flops, so just gotta take into consideration of those scenarios happening and plan on what to do if that happens. Let's go to WEMIX. See what's going on in this market. Okay. Weekly time frame. Falling wedge pattern. Again. Okay. Definitely a pattern you guys should train your eyes to see, because it's probably the most common trading pattern. And it has actually just broke out of it by this week's candle. Price target for WEMIX is about $2.10 price target, so still quite a bit of a move there. Let's see if it actually gets there. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing for WEMIX so far. Let's take a look into Layer. which is Solayer, and see what's going on in this market. How is it similar to other altcoin markets? Now, Solayer here on this daily time frame, very similar theme. Falling wedge pattern, broke out of it quite some time ago. However, it hasn't done too much. It has just been dragging on, trying to get on top of some of these moving averages. Moving averages are very important because when it's above the price action, it is resistance, and traders tend to take profits at resistance. So I plan accordingly. Okay. Uh, Price target for this breakout here on this daily time frame is about $1. Okay, so still quite some way to go for layer. Now, if layer actually reaches that price target, okay, then what would I do? If it reaches that price target and if it consolidates at that price level, if quite a bit of ifs there, okay. If it consolidates at that price level, at that price target, I will chart the consolidation pattern and see if I can get any more clues on if the probabilities of it going higher would be higher, or will there be a higher probability of it pulling back? Okay, so quite a bit of things to keep track of. I think it's going to be a very exciting market. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And this wraps up for this video. I'll see you on the next one.